Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dialogue Dome. I'm Max, this is Brennan, and today we're going to be talking about something near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, fast food.
Mm-hmm. Good old fast food. Yes.
It's near and dear because your cholesterol is rising as we even have this episode.
Yes, and our IQ is dropping.
Yep.
But then again, your IQ is dropping if you're listening to us in general.
Right?
Um,
Ugh. Anyway.
yeah.
But today, I think I wanted to mostly talk about fast food. As kind of like maybe an intro into food in general, but like at some point everyone starts off with fast food really being the kind of pinnacle American experience, right? And I mostly wanted to ask like um
It's so sad that
where
that's an American
I know,
experience. It really
right?
is.
It's
This is coming from two Americans, by the way.
mm,
It's just it's so sad that along ways that this country has come to rely on fast food. But keep going.
mhm. I mostly just wanted to ask, like, what was maybe some of your first fast food experiences, if you can even remember them, or even where uh some of your favorite places that you like to go. Was there a particular restaurant chain
Hmm.
that you enjoyed? Um, I guess yeah. Let's go
We'll
from there.
start
Let's
there.
let's yeah. Let's start with like what's some of your first fast food experiences?
Well, I think I'm my first fast food experience in general that I can remember, if I really dive in the back of my head,
Mm-hmm.
um, was it's just like most other kids in America, was McDonald's. I mean, it really was.
Oh.
It was just the classic McDonald's. I
Mhm.
remember particularly that, ironically, not for the fast food, but because of the ball pit.
Yeah.
It was
No, exactly.
it was a big deal because McDonald's back in the day was nowadays it's kind of just a restaurant that you can just
Mhm.
eat at quickly, but back in the day they used to partner with like playpen places with like literal like ball pits and slides and like swings, and it used to be a
Mhm.
playground. I mean, it was definitely way more than just a restaurant. So I think what made it super interesting was, I think the decline of that was due to the internet. I think
Yeah,
smartphones and games and stuff like that, one, and two,
sure.
I think it was sanitary reasons, because let's be honest,
Yeah. Not
I would
exactly the
not
most
jump into a ball
sanitary
pit
thing.
today. Let's be honest.
Mm.
Less because I would jump into a ball pit if I knew it was, one, sanitary, and two, deep enough.
Mhm.
But um, at the same
True,
time,
fair.
like when I was a kid, like I could guarantee you that they were not cleaned the same way they would be today. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
no, of course not.
Oh God.
Festering petri dish of all the diseases known to man just right there at a McDonald's play area.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just disgusting. But um, the first thing I really remember falling in, like absolutely loving at
Mm.
McDonald's, was their chicken nuggets. Their chicken
Oh,
nuggets and fries are just, even to
yes.
this day, current me is just,
Right.
it's so addicting. It's
Very
definitely
good.
something they put in the chicken nuggets, but
Mhm.
it's addicting. It's one of my
It's like
favorite
that
things.
right it's that right texture, right, of crispiness and soft chicken inside put together with a wonderful flavor, and it's so simple too.
Hmm.
Um, I always really loved the dipping sauces, and like uh I think honey mustard was definitely my go-to, but then I know there was that meme like a while ago with Rick and Morty talking about the Szechuan sauce for the Mulan release. That was, I'm not gonna lie, a really good sauce, and I'm grateful that they brought it back for that fun little Rick and Morty meme, but like no joke, that needs to be just a permanent sauce. It it's
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
it's a meme, but it's good, and it's good for a reason.
Hmm. Yeah, I've never really been a super big condiments guy.
Really?
I like I like things like like mayo and sometimes ketchup.
Sure.
But mustard, honey barbecue, sweet and sour sauce, Cool Ranch
Mhm.
dressing, like all that stuff. Never been a fan of it. I don't know what it is. It's just I feel like it's just for me it's the texture. I think it's
Yeah.
putting it's the idea of taking something crunchy and putting something slimy on top of it. It just from my taste buds, my mouth does not like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I've never been a big
I,
I've never been a big condiments guy, except for like mayonnaise is really the only big one I really like, and it just adds a lot of really good flavor to it. But I would
Sure.
never dip anything straight in mayo. Like that's
Oh
weird to
no.
me.
The crazy people over in Europe dipping their French fries in
Oh,
mayonnaise. It's like,
I will say this. I mean,
okay.
yeah, that's weird. But I will say this: dipping my chicken nuggets in honey, that is something I love to do. It's
Oh,
delicious,
it's
absolutely
great.
delicious.
Sweet and savory mixed together. That's why I like the honey mustard as much as I do. That nice acid with a little of this sweet going on. So good.
What about you? What was your first
Uh,
fast food experience?
um, very similarly, if it wasn't the McDonald's play area, it was definitely Burger King's play area.
Ah, yes, McDonald's
Like,
versus Burger King. That's like the Android
yeah.
versus Apple of fast food. It really is.
Um, unfortunately, where I grew up, we didn't really have a whole lot of options as far as fast food went. I mean, you got all the major players, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, because they were nationwide. They were in small towns as well as large cities. Like that was their whole deal. They could lose money on like being in a small town
Mhm.
and be fine with that. It wasn't really up until recently that like our town even got its first Arby's.
I've never
So
been to an
like
Arby's still. Mhm.
it's okay. It's not great,
Wow,
but
I've never been there.
most fast food isn't really all that fantastic. Um,
What's ironic
so
is, hold on. What's ironic is if
yeah,
people at home need to realize that we're two foodies. Like
yes.
Max cooks really good
I
food, and
I
I'm
graduated from Le Cordon Bleu.
yeah.
Like I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Portland, Oregon and graduated and I have experience in kitchens.
Yeah. And I'm
So
yeah, and I'm Italian and I grew up with an Italian mother. I cook Italian food at home. Like
Mhm.
I also have a good experience with cooking food. So it's ironic that the two of us are talking about fast food because we're both foodies that love to make really good healthy meals.
Mhm.
But anyway, what were we talking about? Sorry, I
I
digressed a little.
you're fine. I think it's interesting that we can talk about this because you don't really see other I don't know, chefs, professionals talking about fast food in the same vein that we do or can.
Mhm.
Um, most of the people, the Gordon Ramsay of the world, they'll go to McDonald's, have a burger, and then instantly spit it out because it's bad. And I'm not saying that it isn't bad, but there's a reason why McDonald's works and Gordon Ramsay's restaurant works in a very different way.
I mean, they're
Like
two completely different, almost different industries at that point in the
exactly.
food
You
industry.
you go to Gordon Ramsay's I think mostly because of the name associated with it. You go to his kitchens and his restaurants because he's the guy typing in all of the stuff. He's the guy that's
Yeah.
making the food and maybe it tastes good. I've never been. I'm sure it's delicious. It's
I never been
exotic
either.
to
It's
say the
just it's
least.
too expensive. That's the
It
problem.
is. McDonald's is the everyman's burger.
Although that's too expensive now too.
I know.
McDonald's.
Ugh.
Fast food is just getting way too expensive.
Which is so ridiculous. But like back in the day though, like that was the everyman's burger. You when you thought of a hamburger, even in a very basic sense, it was an all beef patty, special sauce, little cheese, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. That was it. Fucking Big Mac.
Hmm. Yep, and it didn't cost you $20 to get a Big Mac.
Exactly. But that was that
Uh,
was the burger, and that's what I think is a very common, at least American experience,
mhm.
is like That's just what food was. And sure, nowadays we have all of these special trends, and I'm sure like fast food restaurants in general are obviously trying to be a lot healthier than they have been in the past. But we have to understand that all of these big restaurants, these big names out there, they're not what built the railroad system or the highway. They're
I
not the
know.
ones that are on Route 66. They're not the American experience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's funny. It's because like I in high school I went to Rome. Right.
Yeah.
There was a McDonald's in Rome,
Mm,
and just because my choir group, it was a choir trip. My choir group
sure.
went to it just because we needed something, which is what you do with fast food. Even in a place like
Right.
Rome. We needed something quick. It was very, very
Mhm.
late. They were open. They were right next to the hotel. So we went and we got it. And I, again, got the chicken nuggets and fries like I always do. And
Sure.
it was so much better than it was in America. And I
Yeah.
think it has to do with the fact that it's of the ingredients that the
Mhm.
actual food is made with. I mean, a lot of fast food in America is very processed. It's very,
Very.
it's made to be mass produced on purpose
Mhm.
because it's got a lot of people in America hooked because it's quick, it's easy, and let's be honest, Americans are always on the go. It's just the way this
Mhm.
country has been for years and years and years. And
Right.
so when you get to a place like McDonald's and you go in Italy, I don't know what it was. It was just so much. It just tasted so much fresher. It tasted healthier. I mean, the French fries were the same. I swear, the French fries, they must put cocaine in it or something, because like those are the most
Something
addicting things
there.
at McDonald's easily. There's nothing that
Mhm.
beats McDonald's fries.
I don't
But
know. I really like Wendy's. Wendy's has a pretty good fry.
okay.
I wish they were crispier,
I've been
but
eating Wendy's more recently if I have to do fast food,
Mhm.
just because it's the healthiest choice. They don't
Yeah.
process their food as much behind the scenes.
True. True. True.
Um,
True. True.
do you know what is your like signature like fast food chain from your state?
Oh, from my
If you don't
state.
know, I can tell you because I have the map up.
You might have to tell me because, well, like again, I live in small town BFE, Idaho.
Yeah,
There's like nothing anywhere near me.
right.
So if there's a specialty shop that's like the thing in Idaho, I probably don't know
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Well, I don't really know of your best local place, but I do
Yeah.
have your most searched place.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Jack in the
Yeah.
Box
Really
for Idaho, which is
interesting.
funny because I don't even know Jack in the Box's menu. So let me actually look at that really quick.
Sure. Uh, there's like there's like one Jack in a Box, and it's half an hour away from me.
But what about
Uh,
Boise? Is
like
there a ton in Boise?
there might be. Do you know how far away Boise is from me? I
Yes,
don't.
I
I
do,
don't.
but
I don't get to Boise that often.
yeah. Oh, so it's kind of like just like a general like sandwich and
Mhm.
and like breakfast
Yeah,
place. Okay.
Jack in the Box is definitely an interesting. That's so interesting that it's Jack in the Box for here. Cause I only know of the one Jack in the Box. Again, that's like half an hour away from me, and their menu is decent. I don't hate the egg rolls, which is a fun and shocking thing to say about a fast food chain. Um, they never really stood out to me. They were not really the go-to, so it didn't imprint on me as much as say Burger King or McDonald's did when I was younger.
Right. Yeah, I've never even I don't even think we have a Jack in the Box here. I if we do,
Yeah.
I'd have never been to it. I can't even tell you where it is. I live in
Mm,
Massachusetts, so near Boston. Um,
mm.
for Massachusetts, and this is not surprising at all. It's Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. No.
I am not kidding you. There is in town and in certain small towns in Massachusetts, there is a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner. I am not kidding you. It's like every
Wow.
2 or 3 blocks there's a Dunkin' Donuts. It's just generally nuts to me because
That's
their
crazy.
coffee is awful. I don't know who is drinking their coffee. I'm a coffee connoisseur personally. I am very bougie with my coffee and espresso. I go out of my way to find like reserve roasts from other countries to ship them to my house. Like I'm one of those people. But
With those nice medium roasted Arabica beans that were
yes.
squeezed in the morning by some old lady in her.
Yes, old lady in Kenya, Africa or something. I don't know. Um no, but seriously, I'm like one of those people. My personal favorite area is it like Europe, Italian coffee, French coffee, like that kind of stuff. But I also love personally coffee from South America. I love things from like
Sure.
Colombia and like Costa Rica and like places
Right.
like that. Like also, South America, Central America, those kinds of areas.
Mhm.
So when I drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee, it literally tastes like dirty water to me,
Mhm.
unless you sweeten it. And even then, it becomes a dessert. And
Mhm.
it just baffled. Like, this is why
Mhm.
America is so overweight. We put so much shit in our food and drinks.
Yeah.
Like I'm not kidding you. If I asked for a large caramel iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, they will put, I think, 6 giant pumps of this chemical-based caramel in
Mhm.
the bottom of the cup before they actually put the cream and sugar in. And it's like, and then they also put cream and sugar in. If you have caramel,
Mhm.
you also have sugar. It's like, that's
That's
so
that's
much sweet.
insane. That's
Like,
so crazy.
but one thing I absolutely will say about Dunkin' Donuts that is just
Mhm.
incredible is their donuts. Of course, they
Oh,
have
of
to
course.
have good donuts because it's called Dunkin'
Oh, yeah.
Donuts. But
Yeah.
although they've just recently rebranded to just Dunkin', um,
Mm.
their donuts are very good. They're
Mhm.
very fresh. They're made in the store still right then and there. Um, and I have never dunked my donut in my Dunkin' Donuts coffee ever in my
Mhm.
entire life, so I don't know what that tastes like. But they've also got really incredible breakfast sandwiches. Those are their other things. So
Mm.
they're very good at breakfast food, I find.
Mm.
It's just prepackaged, but like all they do is heat it up in the oven and it's there and
Sure.
it tastes fresh enough. I think it was still made that day or that morning or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But yeah, it's Dunkin' Donuts for Massachusetts, which is just not surprising at all. Yeah. And then the other
Crazy.
one is the second most searched one here is Starbucks too. Which is
Mhm.
interesting to me because Starbucks used to be a West Coast thing, but now they've really
Right.
expanded.
They've really branched out. I remember when the first Starbucks came, even over this side, which again wasn't too long ago. But when it did finally open, like it went crazy.
Yeah.
People there's literally a line outside of that Starbucks almost daily.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Um,
We
I
we
I think there are plans on getting another one at some point. I don't know if or when that's going to happen, but I'm sure there's going to be another one soon.
yeah. I remember particularly when Starbucks started doing drive-throughs. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it was you used to have to step into the store. They started doing
Mhm.
drive-throughs, and then they started doing mobile orders. I actually used to work for Starbucks in college. That was kind of like my
Mhm.
job to make money while I was doing school. And I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody personally, but it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed the job. I didn't enjoy the
Mhm.
customers. The customers were nasty. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's just baffling to me how picky some Starbucks
Mhm.
customers are when the coffee all tastes the same. It
Right.
really does. Vanilla
I
latte
don't know.
tastes the same as a caramel latte, which tastes the same as a mocha. I mean, it all tasted the same to me personally. Like, and this is
Mm-hmm.
coming from somebody who tastes a lot of different kinds of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Starbucks is really coffee anymore. I think it's really known for their frappuccinos, which I
Yeah.
just learned the other day stands for frozen cappuccino. I don't know if you ever
Interesting.
knew that, but frappuccino
I
stands for frozen
didn't
cappuccino,
know that.
which is disappointing because if you expect a cappuccino, you'll be disappointed, and if you expect some frozen drink, you'll also be disappointed. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
No, that's crazy.
it's weird.
I definitely liked Starbucks mostly for their tea or their like hydration type drinks and fluids. Those ones were really good to me. Um, I think it was really our trip to Florida where I got to experience more of that Starbucks subculture, and try and mix and match and figure out what on the menu that I actually enjoyed and liked. And yeah, there's a lot of those like tea based drinks that I think are very good.
Hmm. Yeah, the big thing, the two favorite drinks I have from Starbucks are my absolute favorite one is a caramel brulee latte and
Mm,
it's only seasonal, which sucks, but the caramel brulee latte is just so addicting. It's not even funny. I would
yeah.
get it as soon as it comes out. I get one, I'm good for a month, then I get another one, I'm good for a month, and then I'm good to go for
Mm,
the rest of the year. But um my go-to my go-to is just a regular grande vanilla latte. That's just kind of like
mhm.
my thing. That's my thing everywhere. Um
Yeah.
but the big one for me is I also love their chai syrup.
Mm,
It's a little sweet, but their chai syrup is very, very good too. I mean, that's their chai tea, but they
mhm.
have a syrup that is particularly like when you order a chai tea latte, it's not actually um brewed
Mhm.
chai tea. It's actually like this pre-made syrup that they put together.
Okay.
But it's
Interesting.
still a tea base with like a little bit of
Yeah.
sweetener in it and stuff like that. So it's still like it's Tazo, so um it's still like an actual tea. It's just
Sure. Sure, sure.
prepackaged instead. It's that way because chai tea lattes are so common now that like that's kind of like another. It's just another way to make it faster for the baristas.
Let me ask you this. Um,
Yes.
out of all of the fast food places that you have been at, is there a specific um region or cuisine type that you find yourself diving towards? Like, do you like pizzas and pastas, or do you find yourself going for like burgers and or chicken and
Good question. Yeah.
like is it where do you find yourself leaning? What's your flavor profile?
Fair enough. Um, when I do fast food, I never do pasta
Really?
because I'm Italian. So when I eat fast food pasta, it all tastes like garbage to me, and
Got
that's
it.
something I've been very spoiled with.
Yeah.
Um,
So no Olive Garden then?
oh, God, don't bring up Olive Garden. Oh my God.
But the endless breadsticks.
Yes,
It's all
yes.
about
The
the
endless breadsticks
breadsticks.
that taste like cigarettes. Yes, yes. I went to Olive Garden once with
Yeah.
my cousin Mary Catherine,
Mm.
and she insisted that it was an incredible Italian restaurant, and I had never been. And I was like, okay, fine. You
Uh-huh.
know, she was staying over. My parents weren't home. We had to go find dinner, so I
Sure.
was like, okay, fine.
For
Let's just
sure.
go to let's go to Olive Garden. There's one like
Mhm.
5-10 minutes away from here. We finally went there, and I ordered the food there. And I am not kidding you. I ordered spaghetti and meatballs, which is like a
Mhm.
signature thing for Italian.
Yeah.
That's if you can get a spaghetti and meatballs correct at an
Mhm.
Italian restaurant, you are a good Italian restaurant if you can
Yeah.
get it good. The spaghetti was rock hard.
Oh
It
no.
was so overcooked. It wasn't even, or no,
Oh
sorry, so
no.
undercooked. It wasn't even funny. On
Oh
top of
no.
that, the meatball was cold.
Oh no.
I have never sent something back to the kitchen, but I sent that back to the kitchen. And they asked me if I wanted something else, and I said, nah, I'm good, thanks. And
oh no.
the breadsticks, I am not kidding you. My cousin was eating it like it was like her last day on earth. I could knock somebody out with them. It was so hard. It was just, oh my God, I could barely cut into it. I don't know how she ate any of it. The one thing I enjoyed from Olive Garden was the sangria.
Yeah.
Which is not even Italian. And then they asked me if I wanted dessert. I said yes, because I was fucking still hungry. And I ordered a tiramisu, and it was edible. That was the one good thing that I think was okay there. And I ate it because I was hungry, let's be honest.
Sure.
But
do you know what the worst thing is?
What?
They don't make those in-house.
Yeah, I know. It's all frozen. Yeah.
Is like
it's
frozen
all frozen and shipped, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't ever bring up an Olive Garden to an Italian ever again. Oh my God.
Okay. So then what is your go-to? what is the flavor that you like when going out?
So for fast food, I tend to go toward pizza, just because pizza is generally pretty hard to screw up. If you don't know how to make a pizza, you shouldn't be in business. I think that's my mentality on things, because like, yeah, you roll the dough and you put the toppings on and stuff like that, but all you have to do once you make it is put it in the oven and wait. That's it. It's super easy. And if you don't know how to do that, then you shouldn't be cooking. It's the easiest thing to make is a pizza. Sure. I tend to find myself going towards, I love Pizza Hut. I think Pizza Hut's great.
Really?
Their stuffed crust pizza had me sold years ago, and they've kind of dimmed down on the stuffed crust pizza. That's their selling point, but like they still have it, and that's like my go-to thing. It's like putting it's like having a mozzarella stick in your pizza. It's just delicious. It's just delicious. But you know, the other one would be, I mean, if I had to go for a pizza, probably there's either Domino's or Papa John's or something like that. But like Domino's tends to be the big thing here too if you're doing pizza. But then there's also another local chain here that's kind of expanded a little bit more in New England, but it's called Bertucci's. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I haven't.
I don't think it's made its way out west yet, but Bertucci's is an Italian brand. And they tend to taste more authentically Italian because they actually cook their pizzas in a brick oven, which is really delicious. Nice. And the food is the pizzas are big. They're very big, which is good. Nice. So I tend to go more toward pizza if I do fast food, just because it's something you really can't screw up unless it's like too greasy or something like that. And even then, it's still edible. You know what I mean? Right. What about you?
I mean, as far as pizza goes, I definitely find myself leaning more towards Domino's. Domino's seem to have like, I don't know, a better, cleaner pizza experience. I think I always have a hard time with Pizza Hut. A lot of their stuff, especially the pan pizzas, are very greasy and very just drenched in oil and fat and all this other stuff, and I feel awful every time I eat any of that. But you know, every now and again I still go over to Pizza Hut and try some of their new stuff, like this new hot and honey pepperoni pizza that they have out currently. Isn't too bad. It's this nice, like, sweet and spicy pepperoni pizza. Like, it's very simple. And it's not the worst thing I've ever had, but I definitely like a local business that I have out here called Papa Kelsey's. I swear,
definitely a spin-off of, is that Papa John's sister?
No.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to get in trouble, maybe.
Everyone duck.
I want to preface by saying that I'm not in any way like saying that any of this is factual. I want to be very clear that this is an opinion. I am being very opinionated right now. I think Papa Kelsey's here in town is a front for something. I don't know what. It's entirely possible that they're just like a front for the local park society members cleaning up the town and being generally good people, but the building is trash. It's this run down. It's in one of the old school brick buildings that our town still has from like 18 whatever, whenever the town was founded. It's run down, it's falling apart. The linoleum is pulling up on the floor. The benches, their seats need to be reupholstered. There's water stains and marks everywhere. The decor is like it's from 1970 something. It's just an awful, awful building. But their pizza, something about it, I don't know what it is.
They're probably it's probably marijuana because it's illegal in Idaho.
It's so good though. There's one pizza that they do as like a specialty thing, and it's this. So they have like this chipotle ranch as the sauce on I wouldn't even call it pizza dough. I think they just use bread dough, and they think that that's pizza dough. I don't know how or why, but they use basically just bread dough, and then they have this chipotle ranch and buffalo chicken on top of that. Then you put mushrooms and green bell peppers on top of all of that. I add jalapenos and cashews to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like mozzarella over top of all of that. And it's so fucking good. The crunch from the nuts and the chicken and the ranch and all of this on top of essentially bread it's very good. And I don't understand it, but please fix your building. I want to go there more without feeling like I'm going to buy drugs or something.
Oh man. Yeah, I can't say we have anything like that here with buildings. It's pretty much all manufactured and good.
I don't know. I don't understand it. But that's like pizza for me. I like pizza. I agree. Pizza is definitely very versatile. My favorite flavor profile. That one's going to be really hard because I like a classic burger, and it really just kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. I don't know if you're the same way for something like that, or if you have similar experiences. But I know, like, sometimes I want a burger, sometimes I want pizza, sometimes I want sweet and sour chicken. Like,
Yeah.
it's really dependent on where I want in the moment.
Well, it's what's funny you say that the restaurant that first comes to mind from New England, and it hasn't really. I don't really know if it's still around much anymore. But one of the big things that we eat in New England is ice cream. It's a huge part of our culture. I'm not sure exactly why. I find that ironic because it's incredibly cold here, and yet right in the middle of the winter, you'll still see a line out the door for ice cream. I'd see, like, you see like JP Licks always has, a line out the door,
Sure.
The big chain that I remember growing up for like pretty much everything you could want in a fast food chain was Friendly's. I don't know if you remember Friendly's or if you ever heard of Friendly's. I think it's a New England chain only, but Friendly's was known for their ice cream. That was like they sold like in Shaw's and like and Stop and Shop, like which is the two local places here. They would sell Friendly's ice cream by the tub in the freezer section. I haven't seen it recently, so I don't know where it's gone. But then again, I'm not really going to Shaw's or Star Market or Stop and Shop anymore. I'm mostly going to Whole Foods these days, which is kind of countrywide. But Friendly's used to have pretty much everything from sandwiches to burgers to pizza to like chicken to like all the stuff that you would particularly see as an American like. It was still a sit down, we'll serve you restaurant, but it was fast food, we'll sit down and serve you, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some days where I just like want everything. I don't know. There's just some days
Yeah.
where I just want this, or I want that, or I want this, or I want that. It changes every day based
Hmm.
on what I'm thinking. But I do like friendlies in particular. That's I remember growing up with friendlies a lot, and it was good. It was just something quick and easy. It was something that, if you didn't want to go to McDonald's, but you still wanted something quick and you wanted to sit down and eat it, Friendlies was kind of the place to go. They used to
Yeah.
be everywhere. I haven't seen them in a long time, though, so I don't actually know where they've gone, or if they've kind of, pulled back on their
Kind of.
restaurant business, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
sad to see that kind of thing happen, because it's like,
Yeah.
Friendlies was such a big part of my childhood, or fundamental part of my childhood,
Sure.
Like the ice cream particularly was
Hmm.
so good. It's still so good if you can find it. You know?
Very interesting.
What's a particular is there anything in particular? Let's talk really quickly about things you've always wanted to try, but you've
Yeah.
never tried, but you've seen online, like
Mm.
specific fast food that you might have, or a fast food chain, or a specific food of a fast chain that you wanted to try, but
Yeah.
you've never been able to. Because I have a couple.
Okay. Um okay. So there's a couple fast food places that are definitely more back out east that were uh, on my list that I wanted to try. Um there's a restaurant called like Freddy's. Freddy's has this kind of like ice cream burger thing going on. That looked interesting, that, has its whatever going on with it. Five Guys is definitely something that
Oh,
people
Five
seem
Guys
to
is
be
good.
like, they talk about it. We don't have one
Five
like
Guys is good.
readily available or close
We
by
have
that
one
I
in
can
Boston.
try.
We have literally
Yeah.
one in Boston. It was down the street from me, yeah, when I used to live in Boston.
Um I don't know. And I mean, like, there's also like White Castle. White Castle was one that I hadn't tried until like relatively recently, which was a very interesting experience. And I'm sure that many people will have their own experiences going to a White Castle or a Waffle House or something that I just won't understand. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like both of those restaurants seemed like they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
They make food, and then I left.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say about it. Like White Castle has its own movie, and Waffle House is so notorious on the internet for all of the
wow.
fights and
I've seen
the
so much about
problems that it
Waffle
has,
House. Yeah, I've seen
right?
so much about them.
Exactly. But then I finally got an opportunity to go, and I went, and they made food, and then
That
I
was it.
left. That was it. That's all that happened. Like, I was very disappointed that I didn't get the experience I wanted, I guess.
I guess that's fair. Um,
What about you? Are there any interesting restaurants or fast food chains out my way that you've wanted to try or didn't get the opportunity to?
well, not necessarily out your way. I'm thinking in general, but
Yeah.
I have never had Taco Bell.
Really?
Everybody talks about Taco Bell and what
Really?
comes out of you after you eat Taco Bell. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm not a huge fan of, that's something that's very interesting about me. I have never
Hmm.
been a huge fan of Mexican food personally,
Sure.
or like Spanish food in general, not because it doesn't
Hmm.
taste good, but because a lot of it is spicy, and I find myself
Sure.
very sensitive to spice.
Hmm.
I'm very, very white in that sense. Um, but at the same time, um, one of the things that I wanted to try at Taco Bell in particular was two things. One,
Hmm.
I think it's their churro balls, or
Hmm.
their churro balls dipped in sugar, and like
Hmm.
it's a dessert, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like people have raved about those.
Hmm.
And then the other one is I am addicted addicted to French fries. I love French fries. I will, if there's French fries on the menu, I will order French fries. And there's only been a couple of days in my life that I can remember that I didn't want French fries, and I was sick. So, I would say the nacho fries at Taco Bell. I've always wanted to try those. They're very interesting. They're served with nacho cheese, and I have never tried those in particular, but I would definitely like to try those one day.
That would definitely be interesting.
Yeah. One of the restaurants I don't understand in general, because we were talking about, you go there and they make food and that's it. The big one for me is Panera bread.
Yeah.
I don't get the hype for Panera bread. I mean,
I don't either.
It's good, but
yeah, like we have a Panera bread and the bread is okay and the sandwiches that they make are fine, I guess. But I could make a lot of that at home and make it probably even better. I mean, hell, I'd argue that Subway does a better job. My local Subway does a better job than the Panera bread does.
I mean, you can't beat a $5 footlong,
Exactly.
You really can't. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a foot long anymore. I think it's 10 inches, but like it's still paying $5 for a huge sandwich. I mean,
right.
It's great. I mean, I never personally liked Subway myself. I have gone to it occasionally when I want a sandwich every now and then, but there's not a lot of Subways in my area, which is interesting. But Subway has always been good. I've never really had a problem with Subway whenever I've gone.
Very basic. There was a short time a while ago where it was very bad. I think it was mostly just the employees there versus the sandwiches themselves, but it's certainly gotten better over time. At least for me, anyway.
I've also never been to a KFC.
Really? That one's almost pinnacle. Like that's one of the major food chains in the United States. It's McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC. Those are the guys that make up the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
But see, in my defense, I've always chose McDonald's or Wendy's first. I mean, like, why would I choose KFC when I could go to those two? I don't know. I just never been to KFC. I would love to try their fried chicken someday. I've heard very good things about it. There's no place in the world there's no place in the United States where you can go and get a bucket of fried chicken for cheaper. I mean, there isn't. But I've just never been to KFC. I don't know what it is. I've just never been.
That's very interesting. That's crazy. I'm so lost on that one. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
I definitely like. Okay, so KFC is definitely known for their fried chicken, and the original recipe, whatever the hell that they have in their spice mix to make the chicken, is actually very good. It has this kind of it's hard to describe this flavor profile that it has. I definitely like a lot of the crispiness. There was a time when they were doing original recipe or extra crispy chicken, depending on your like preferences. And I think they changed the recipe for that. But as someone who likes specific textures, I liked the extra crispy chicken at KFC. And I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say go, but you should try it. I don't know. That one's going to be a hard one for this episode. It's like I'm not going to actively endorse any of these people.
Oh, same. I mean,
they're great
for if you're in a time crunch and you gotta, or the other one would be like if you're on a road trip on anywhere and you pull over to a
you need a quick
rest
bite.
stop, you will be guaranteed to see either in New England, you'll be guaranteed to see a Dunkin' Donuts or a McDonald's, or sometimes both in the same building, which is even funnier. But it's good for a quick bite to eat, and I think
Exactly.
that's it. I wouldn't endorse going there every day unless you really,
For
really
sure.
cannot cook and don't know what good food is. I mean, like, I wouldn't be doing Chipotle every single day and Dunkin' every morning. Like, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Nah,
I
it's
get
not
so
worth it.
fat.
It's not worth it.
Oh, Jesus.
And I mean, especially when there are better foods out there. And cooking, despite what anyone tells you or what anyone says about it, it's not magic. We're not people who you learn techniques first, and then you can make anything you ever dreamed of, and it's so wonderful. Just take a home cooking course. They're cheap, and you'll learn how to make some of the best stuff that you've ever made.
Yep, it's based. I like to say that we are like people who cook are just chemists at home. That's really all it is. It's just chemistry. I mean, you put a specific amount of ingredients in, you put it in the oven, you heat it up, it mixes it by itself, or like you put it in a pot and it mixes it by itself. It's just chemistry, but on a level that you eat it instead of study it. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not gonna say that I am good at cooking by any means. I wouldn't even call myself a good chef at all. I just know what I'm good at making, and I make what I'm good at very often, and that's
makes
that.
A great grilled cheese sandwich. Super simple. On the plate, it's beautiful.
It's funny though. There's a fancy way to make grilled cheese, and then there's the easy way to make grilled cheese. I was talking more specifically. If you need me to boil a pot of pasta and make red sauce with some chicken in it, I'm your guy. I'll do that super easily, super fun, and at the same time, it'll taste great.
Perfect stuff. All right. Where shall we go next, or are we close to? Where's our plan?
Well, I think we can probably call it with this one here. I think we've talked about every
wind down.
I think we've talked about every major fast food joint, what we liked, what we don't like, the stereotypes of our states.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't get over the Dunkin' Donuts here. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts here is just what everyone does. There's one in every corner. Yeah.
Go ahead and talk in the comments. What's some of your stuff that you've been looking at, and what's your favorite fast food experiences? We need some of that YouTube analytics stuff to bump us around. Yeah, let's do some of that.
Yeah, like what's the is something you've always wanted to try in fast food, or like a specific like meal that you've wanted to try that you haven't tried yet that you might go try this week? Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Feel free to leave in the comments, or just you can all call us both idiots in the comments too. That
exactly.
Too,
it's like you're wrong. Your taste in food sucks, and I can't believe you actually graduated from Le Cordon Bleu. It's not even the French one.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't graduate cooking school.
Well, anyone, thank you so much for being a part of this, our dialogue dome. I'm still bad at outros and intros, as you could, take it away from me. Don't.
Yes, I'll do this one.
You do that one.
Okay. Oh my God. Thank you all very much for listening to the Dialogue Dome again. We talked about fast food today. Who knows what we'll talk about next? Like I said, that's Max. I'm Brendan, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.